हरी हरी इधर बैठी ना, कम दिस साइड। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, बोलो यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजना, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे, जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ ललिता विशाखा देवी की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की, श्री गोपाल नाथ जी महाराज की, श्री जनार्दन स्वामी की, श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So welcome to all of you to the Srimad Bhagavatam session. Today we are speaking on third canto, chapter 10, entitled Divisions of Creation, text number 16 and 17. Bhutastargastrutiyastu tanmatro dravya shaktiman चतुर्थ ऐन्द्रिय स्वर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः भूतसर्गस्तृतीयस्तु तन्मात्रो द्रव्य शक्तिमान चतुर्थ ऐन्द्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः भूतसर्गस्तृतीयस्तु तन्मात्रो द्रव्य शक्तिमान चतुर्थ ऐन्द्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः। भूतसर्गा तृतीयस्तु धर्मात्रो द्रव्य शक्तिमान चतुर्ग ऐन्द्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः। तन्मात्रो द्रव्य शक्तिमान इंद्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः। चतुर्सर्गो चतुर्यस्तु चतुर्थ ऐन्द्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः। लेडीज माताजीज, चतुर्थ कर्म स्थिति अस्तु तन्मात्रो द्रव्य शक्तिमान चतुर्थ ऐन्द्रिय सर्गो यस्तु ज्ञान क्रियात्मकः। नेक्स्ट वर्स, Vaikariko, abhi I will only sing. Vaikariko deva sargaha panchamo yanmayam manaha shashtastu tamasa sargo yasva buddhi kritaha prabho. Translation of first verse. Bhuta sargaha, creation of matter. Tritiya, the third. Two, but. Tat matraha, sense perception. Dravya, of the elements. Shaktiman, generator. Chaturthaha, the fourth. Aindriyaha, in the matter of the senses. Sargaha, creation. Ya, that which. Tu, but. Jnana, knowledge acquiring. Kriya, working. Atmakaha, basically. The sense perceptions are created in the third creation. And from these, the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity. Next verse translation. The fifth creation is that of the controlling deities by the interaction of the mode of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of the living entity by which the master acts as a fool. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The demigods in the higher planets are called Devas because they are all devotees of the Lord. Vishnu Bhaktaha Smruto Daiva Asuras Tad Viparyaha. All the devotees of the Lord Vishnu are Devas, the demigods, whereas all others are Asuras. That is the division of the Devas and the Asuras. Devas are situated in the mode of goodness of material nature, whereas the Asuras are situated in the mode of passion or ignorance. The demigods or controlling deities are entrusted with departmental management of all the different functions of the material world. For example, one of the sense organs, the eye, is controlled by light. Light is distributed by the sun rays and their controlling deity is the sun. All the other senses, both for working and the acquiring knowledge, are controlled by different demigods. The demigods are assistants of the Lord in the management of material affairs. After the creation of demigods, all entities are covered by the darkness of ignorance. After the creation of the demigods, all the entities are covered by the darkness of ignorance. Each and every living entity in the material world is conditioned by his mentality of lording it over the resources of material nature. Although a living entity is a master of the material world, he is conditioned by ignorance, avidya, by the false impression of being the proprietor of the material things. The energy of the Lord is called avidya, which is bewildering factor of the conditioned souls. The material nature is called avidya or ignorance, but the devotees of the Lord engaged in pure devotional service, this energy becomes vidya, the pure knowledge. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The energy of the Lord transforms from Mahamaya to Yogamaya and appears to pure devotees in her real nature. The material nature, therefore, appears to function in three phases. The creative principle of the material world, as ignorance and as knowledge. As disclosed in previous verse, the fourth creation, the power of knowledge, in the fourth creation, the power of knowledge is also created. The conditioned souls are not originally fools, but by the influence of the avidya function of the material nature, they are made into fools. and thus they are unable to utilize the energy, the knowledge of the proper channel. By the influence of darkness, the conditioned soul forgets his relationship with the Supreme Lord and is overwhelmed by attachment, hatred, pride, ignorance, and false identification. The 5 kinds of illusion that cause material bondage. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Dhyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I was reading this Bhagavatam now and before also. I was remembering that Parvati Devi went to sleep when this discussion started. Lord Shiva was doing Amar Katha in Amarnath. And he had told Parvati that I will be absorbed while telling Katha. So my eyes will be closed. You are the only audience. And if you are listening, then you keep on saying, then I will know that you are listening. But 3rd canto, usually people think that it is a very klishta. Klishta means very difficult and in one sense also boring, because everybody is eager to hear the stories that are very enlivening. And 5th canto is a dreadly canto in the sense that it describes about various hells where we will be churned, squeezed and made into pulp, again come back, again made into pulp. So it's like very, it doesn't sound like Srimad Bhagavatam. So people actually generally skip all these things. But the reality is like this, that even the 3rd canto is very interesting. And 5th canto is very realistic, which brings down the listener to the ground level, makes him grounded and makes him enough positively scared so that we check ourselves when we are treading on the path of the spiritual life in the material world. The problem is that we are trying to practice spirituality in the material world. The material world is quite opposite the activity that we are doing. And there's a lot of dangers and distractions and deviations. So we have to know that Shukadeva Goswami has only limited time. Because Parikshit Maharaj is cursed to die in 7 days. So Shukadeva Maharaj doesn't have unlimited time to describe anything in between. So sometimes you may feel, Shukadeva Maharaj, why is he talking about all these things so in detail? 1 canto, 2 cantos are dedicated in 12 cantos in only 7 days' time. But Shukadeva Maharaj will not tell Parikshit Maharaj anything that is not needed by him. Srimad Bhagavatam is a well-filtered concentrate of knowledge that the soul needs to go back to Godhead. So, he doesn't have time to even say one word, what to speak of one verse extra. But there is no time actually. He has to give him the best of best and the most necessary thing. And he should not avoid anything that is necessary that he is going to miss out. So from that point of view, to understand that 3rd canto is not unnecessarily fill up, or 5th canto is not unnecessarily fill up. It is essential and is very beautifully sequentially organized in a very planned way. See, when a speaker has been told, suppose, how much time is the lecture there? So they say, "Oh, Prabhu, you speak. Whatever you want to speak, how much ever time you want to speak, we are ready to listen." Then there's no much trouble, you know. And you just go on as the flow comes, you just go on speaking, speaking, speaking. Because there's no end time, so you can satisfy yourself till you feel satisfied, you keep speaking. When you are told that, Prabhu, 30 minutes, please, 30 minutes. So what happens? You have to really organize your thoughts. You cannot just go on speaking anything. You have to compose everything in this 30 minutes. What in the beginning, what in the middle, what in the end, everything should be very clear in your mind. And you have to give that capsule in a perfect manner. So when Uddhavji spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, 30 days he spoke. And he was not having any limit. He just spoke 30 minutes, 30 days. When Lord Shiva spoke to Parvati, no time limit was there. When Vyasdeva was speaking to his wife in Badrikashram, there was no time limit there. But this is the only Bhagavatam which had time limit. So, how much composition, how much composition Shukdevji must have made in his mind, कि I have to use this 7 days, 168 hours in this particular manner. So he spoke all these things 3.5 days, 9 cantos. Then he began 10th canto at the end of 3.5 days. Then he spoke 10th canto elaborately. And then 11th and 12th canto. That also could not be minimized. It had to be told because Kali Yuga was approaching. So description of Kali Yuga was essential. So I was just remembering this, that today I am speaking on 3rd canto. So I told all these things that because I don't want you to sleep. Because then I also will feel sleepy. Because enough exhaustion is there to go to sleep. So, when Brahma was born, he went into complete confusion. Because he had no association. He only knew that he is born from Vishnu. But there was nobody else to inquire. So he took shelter of tapa, that is austerity. And he did very wonderful austerity. So, Lord Brahma is the first person in the whole creation, in this particular universe. We can say first citizen of this universe. And he has to set the path in all respects for everybody to follow. Because he's going to create living entities and so many things. So first thing he did is tapasya. That means life in the material world for human beings should begin with tapasya. This life is not meant for only sense gratification. Sense gratification is there in a limited sense. But basically this life is meant for tapasya. Tapo divyam putrakadishu. Even Rishabdev is telling his sons that, my dear sons, this life is meant for tapasya. It's not meant for unlimited, unrestricted, unregulated enjoyment of our senses. That we have done in the past lifetimes, past yonis. So endowed with bhakti in the heart and knowledge that was given by the Lord, Vidya Shakti, Tene Brahmaradaya. Lord spoke in his heart. He is the most fortunate person because he did not only receive knowledge, he also received knowledge with the package of realization ready-made. That's ready-made implanted in his heart. So the Vidya Shakti he was empowered with by the Lord, he did tapasya. And by the power of his devotion and the power of tapasya, he saw the Pralaya ocean and the Pralaya Vayu also. So one more understanding we have that Pralaya can be done by any Panchamahabhuta, any one of the Panchamahabhuta. Not only water, but many times we hear water falling for hundreds of 1,000 years. Water keeps falling, creating water coverage of 1,000 kilometers radius around the earth. But it is not only water. There is pralay air also. What air we experience is like nothing. What is the speed? 2 kilometers per hour? And thousands of kilometers per hour air flows. Everybody just flies. The vehicles fly, everything flies. When the cloudburst occurs, we see buildings just flow with the water. Buildings, not a log of wood. So each element is the instrument of mini pralaya and mahapralaya, can be utilized by the will of the Lord. So he saw Samvartaka air. We have heard about Samvartaka clouds, which Indra sent. But there is something called a Samvartaka air also, Vayu. And Samvartaka ocean also is there, ocean of pralaya. He opened his mouth and drank all the water and air of pralaya. And this is the power of tapasya. People many times question, how can Krishna drink fire? He drank fire, no? Davanal Pan he did in Vrindavan. So how can one drink fire? We drink water. How can one drink air? And how Krishna can do this? If his creation of a living entity, that is, living entity is Brahma. Brahma is the first living entity, right? Human being in the sense of demigods. If he can drink the pralaya water and pralaya air, then Krishna is the origin of Brahma. That too not directly. Brahma is a expansion of expansion of expansion of expansion. 7th or 8th degree expansion. Then Brahma comes. Till that time all the personality of Godheads come. Is the first living entity of 8th or 9th degree generation. So if he can do this, why not Krishna? After drying up the whatever was there, pralaya ocean and pralaya air, destroying that, Brahma saw to his origin. What was his origin? Origin was the lotus and the stem from the navel of the Lord, the lotus had sprung out. So he studied that, observed that, and first divided that into 3 portions that we call as Svarloka, Bhuloka, and down lower planets. 3 basic categories. One category of opulence, but people over there are very favorable to the Lord, devoted to the Lord. One category in between, where there is lot of misery, little happiness, but more opportunity of self-realization, an opportunity of antagonizing the Lord also is there, opportunity of serving the Lord also is there. There is a mixture of the both situations. In the lower planets, full opulence is there, full Shakti like demigods, but averse, everybody is averse to the Lord. All those who consider Lord as their enemy, or don't believe in them, or hate the Lord, or fight with the Lord, or always are inimical to the Lord, are all staying down there. That doesn't mean they are always suffering. They are also enjoying, but they are enjoying in averseness to the Lord. And beyond that, there are 27 hellish planets below, which are there in 5th canto. We should read them to get enough healthily scared of entering into Maya and the results of Maya. And below that is Ananta Shesha, who is holding everything on his hoods. So this is how the situation is. And then, after dividing into 3 parts, he made into 14. That means the upper part, he divided into 7. There is Bhuvarloka, Swarloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka. Like that, there are 7 progressively opulent. The topmost is Brahmaloka. And then this earthly planet. And then there are 6 lower planets. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Patala, and Rasatala. 6 planets. But different kinds of living entities live there. Then Brahma did 10 types of creation. Now we do some construction of the building, then we design something, and some resorts are made in the island. So we are like awestruck. Wow, what a planning! How everything is meticulously planned. But these are all gross plannings, what we see in the material world. What we hear, listen here, is subtle planning. It's like sukshma, and so deep and so meticulous and so thoughtful and so highly intellectual. We can see how much intelligence is required to make this kind of creations. And that kind of intelligence is provided by Vishnu to Brahma in his 4 different heads. With that, he also architect. He's a summum bonum of everybody. Then he will create Vishwakarma. Then he will create so many demigods, and he'll get the work done from them. But the total concept is with Brahma, and that concept is given to Brahma by the Supreme Lord. The elements to create that is also given by the Supreme Lord. The 24 elements that are required to create is also given by the Supreme Lord. So let us enumerate the 10 types of creation. In this verse, we read about 4th and 5th type of creation, if you have heard the translation carefully. So the first creation is the total emanation of the Lord, materially. That is called Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva, what is Mahat Tattva? It's a cloud of darkness, or cloud which creates darkness. Because the creation is full light, basically. Originally the creation is light. Everywhere there is light emanating from the body of Krishna. But there is a part where it's called Mahat Tattva, which comes in between as a cloud, which obstructs the light and creates darkness under it. And that is the whole material creation. So that is a different, altogether creation that Brahma is creating. And Brahma is not creating the whole material creation. Mahavishnu is in charge of the whole material creation. And from his navel, from his pores of the body, unlimited bija Brahmandas are coming out. Unlimited universes in the seed form are coming out. And they mature and they become Brahmandas, grown up, fully developed universes. And in that universe, a particular unit universe, he expands into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And that particular unit of Brahmanda, where Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is existing, he gives rise to that Brahma who is in charge, first citizen of that Brahmanda. So it's not that there are only one Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and one Brahma. There are unlimited Brahmandas, unlimited Garbhodakshaya Vishnus, unlimited Brahmas of different types. So, in the creation, the Mahatmata is created. Then Ahankar is created. What is Ahankar? The false ego. The basis of the material existence. Why does material existence is existing? Why it exists? Because of the false ego that is there in our all hearts. Collectively, that false ego of all our living entities force or is the cause behind the material world. Why the material world is there? The cause is we, because we have that desire, independent desire. And what is the, how does the Ahankar is described? It is the origin of material ingredient. It is the origin of material world itself. It's also the origin of material knowledge and material activities. They arise from the false ego. Then the third creation is creation of the matter, called as Bhuta Sarga. Bhuta Sarga is the matter which is required to create the material world. Then comes the fourth one. Now the activity starts from here. Till that time the inactive things are coming up. Indriya, that is the senses. The senses is the existence which create working capacity. When you have hand, you can use the hand and do things. When you have legs, you can walk. When you have eyes, you can see. So activity is there. When you are ear, you can't see the activity of ear, but you are hearing. You can perceive the power of the ear by the power of hearing. And some are karmendriyas. You see the action. You can see visually what is happening. And some are jnanendriyas. You can only feel. Eyes are seeing, you only feel. You don't see some external activity going on. You can see movement of the eye. So this is indriyas. Then the demigods which are controlling the indriyas are created. This reminds me of one shloka in 10th canto of Bhagavatam, which says that the demigods, there is a demigod controlling your eye. There is a demigod which controls your ear. There is a demigod which controls your tongue. There is a demigod which controls your speech, because tongue has two functions. So each function is controlled by two different demigods, one different demigod. Speech is controlled by one and taste is controlled by another. Like that, you go on describing your intestines, small intestine, large intestines, the final intestine, everything is covered by different demigods. But more important is the demigods controlling the jnana indriyas, through which we perceive what is around you. And Brahma explains that the demigods are like cups, chashakas, a beautiful cup, through which they perceive what you see. They are noting down that you are seeing a beautiful tree, a flower, or you are seeing a liquor bar, or you are seeing some lusty woman or man. All positive, negative that you keep seeing, the chashaka, the cup, is receiving. And then Brahma makes a very good statement. When you and me and all devotees, when you engage your senses, Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevanam, when you engage your senses in serving the Rishikesha, the master of senses, the chashakas, the demigods, receive nectar. And through that, they feel completely satisfied. So when you are engaging your eyes in seeing the Lord, you are not only satisfying yourself, you are satisfying all the demigods also. That is why it is said, when you use your tongue to vibrate the glories of the Lord, you get benefited because you are narrating it. But everybody who is hearing it, and today's world, we are multiplyingly hearing it through YouTube and through, you can go on hearing it eternally. It's already there. Today I spoke and then it will be there. So eternally people will get benefited. Because their senses with their chashakas, the demigod controlling, are all hearing. The demigods also are not liberated living entities. They are living in the higher planets of conditioned life only. Birth and death also is there. So they are also looking for liberation and salvation and service of the Lord, because they are favorable to the Lord. But not all demigods are devotees of the Lord. They are favorable to the Lord, pious people, but not maybe very inclined towards the Lord. That's why there also Narad Muni, Angira Muni, Parvat Muni, they keep traveling and preaching. So it is very important to know how our birth in human material world here on earthly planet is higher than the birth of the demigods. Because the demigods are dependent on you, what you are watching. They don't have choice. Your independence is the master, which will lead you to see something what you want to see, and demigod has to receive that as per your desire to see. But you have the independence. You can decide, I want to see the Lord. I don't want to see the things of the material world. Like Bilamal Thakur, like Surdas, they were offered benediction by the Lord. I can give eyes to you. You want to take the eyes? He said, no, I don't want to take the eyes, because without the eyes I am seeing you in the heart. What will I do with the eyes which will see the whole world? I am already seeing you within the heart. The purpose of the existence of the eye is already fulfilled without having the eyes. This is a devotee. This is bhakta. We are not attached to anything external. The whole attachment, wholesome is to the Lord. With the senses, without the senses. Right? So then there is devatas, I told you. They are masters of senses. They are called as Vaikarika devatas. Vaikarika devatas means, it is called Vaikarika deva sarga. Sarga means creation. Creation of controlling devatas by the interaction of sattva guna, of which the mind is sum total. All the activities of these demigods is happening in sattva guna only, not in passion and ignorance. Then comes sixth creation, that is called tamas srishti, avidya and asmita. Tamas srishti is creation of darkness of avidya, making the jiva act as a fool. Point to note here. Please note this point, that originally the living entities are not fools. Mamai Vansho Jivaloka, Jivabhuta Sanatana, they all are intelligent people. All are parts and parcel of Krishna, part and parcel of that Sachidananda existence. But they choose to be independent of the Lord, and this creates false ego, and because of false ego, they choose to fall in avidya. For them, because they are averse to the Lord, they have a desire to enjoy independently of the Lord, they fall into Mahamaya. And Mahamaya is, in the sense, poetical word is darkness. You don't know anything. What you need to know. And then we dwell in Mahamaya only, because we continue to remain independent in our service to the Lord, in our life. And because of that, Mahamaya keeps on trapping us in the three modes of material nature, in action, in reaction, bondage of reaction, then the cycle just goes on. But very beautiful point Prabhupada said here, as soon as you choose to become devotee of the Lord, by the Lord's desire and power, the Mahamaya is converted into Yogamaya. The real Maya, the real knowledge, the real existence. Our real existence is in Yogamaya. Yogamaya means total surrender in the Lord's will. So we act as fools in the material world because we have not chosen to surrender to the Lord. So everybody may be intelligent, PhDs, and ruling the world and ruling the countries and making the plans of ammunitions and so many things. But that is still considered under darkness and avidya. And only when you understand, I am the part and parcel of the Lord. This is Prabhupada's statement. When you understand, I am the very part of the Lord and I engage myself in service to the Lord, that time you get transformed from Mahamaya to Yogamaya, and that time only the love of the Lord can spring out. Till the time you don't accept Lord's supremacy, until the time you don't engage your senses in service to the Lord, there is no question of developing love of the Lord. You may be attaining the stage of liberation. You may be self-realized. You may be enlightened. You may be having siddhis. You may be having perfect knowledge of Vedas. You may be doing perfect austerities. With all these things, the love cannot arise in the heart. That we should understand very clearly. Seventh creation is 6 types of achara srishti. That means plants, trees, creepers, all these are created. The so-called lowest kind of material existence, life, is achara srishti. And then 8th creation is 28 types of jivas are created. Now this is a very elaborate subject, we will not discuss over here. 9th creation is Manushya. See, Manushya creation has been given a separate number, you can say, or separate place. Because Manushya is one of the most important creation. It is the opportunity of exit from the material existence, is Manushya. My and your life is the greatest opportunity, much more than the demigods. Of course, they also come in the category of Manushya only. Highly evolved Manushas are demigods. The highest evolved is Brahma. But even compared to Brahma also, your and my life is more fortunate because attaining the Lord is very easy in this particular lifetime, in this species of human life. Especially human life, human being on earth are the most prominent and most fortunate. Even the learned demigods who have got the association of Narad Muni, etc., are standing in queue to take birth in your family because you are devotees. It is very, very important point to understand. So when children are born in devotee families, they are not ordinary people, they are demigods who have understood from the sadhus in Svargaloka and taken birth and opportune time in the earthly planet as human beings. So 1 to 6 are called as Prakrita Srishti, 7, 8, 9, 10 are called Vaikruta Srishti, also technical point. The most important point before we conclude this discussion is 5 things bind us in the material world. Please listen carefully. Asakti, attachment to many things, not only things but people also. Asakti is not bad in absolute sense. Asakti to material things is bad. Because asakti to the things of the material world or things or people connected to the material world materially is the cause of bondage. Asakti to the Lord is opposite, is liberating. Moment to get asakta to the Lord or the things of the Lord or the people of the Lord, you are getting free from the bondage starts. Second, dvesha, hatred. Hatred is actually very bad. It may be small, it may be big. It may be sukshma, it may be stula. Any hatred is only destroying, is only damaging. Third is garva, that is pride. You become proud of anything. Even the beggar on the Dadar bridge, railway station, is proud of his place of begging. But I beg in the other station, the more populated bridge of the city. And when he gets his daughter married, he gives part of the Dadar bridge to beg for the son-in-law. That is his pride. So you don't need anything to become proud. Even the beggar is proud of his penny. And today he got batata vada, fresh, as some donation, bhiksha. So one can be proud of anything. Most stupid things you can be proud of. But any of this pride, whether it is realistic, whether it is substantial, whether it is useless or foolish, it binds us in the material world. That is more important to understand. And then there is avidya that binds us. What is avidya? I am this body. I don't know I am the spirit soul. I am this body, I and me. All the things connected to the body are mine. And I am this body. This is the root. And what does Thakur Bhaktivinoda say how to get rid of this? When we serve the Lord and we go through difficulties while serving the Lord, we come across obstacles and that causes pain, that causes delay, that causes frustration. But we accept it gracefully and thank the Lord for the obstacles. Then that thankfulness, the gratitude towards the obstacles in the path of bhakti frees you from avidya. Nashaye avidya jata. I thank you, my Lord, for all the difficulties that come in my way. And each time you thank from the bottom of your heart for all the difficulties that you go through, your avidya, your attachment to the body as a self is lost. Is getting lost. Slowly, gradually. And the faster you are in accepting and becoming grateful, the faster you are getting liberated from avidya. You are coming to the light of true knowledge. And the last is false identification. That means I see my wife as source of my sense gratification. That is false identification. And then I see my wife as a companion who will help me in getting out of Maya and going back to Krishna. We just read a verse 2 days back, which said that accepting a Vaishnava wife is like accepting a boat to cross over the material ocean back to Godhead. 3.18, Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a powerful verse. We don't need to see anything as Maya if we are Krishna conscious. The very foundation of Grahastha Ashram. If the husband is Krishna conscious, wife is Krishna conscious, they see each other as Krishna conscious Vaishnavas, not as a source of sense gratification for each other. The very existence becomes a source of going back to Godhead. So identify with Krishna, identify with Krishna's devotees, identify with things connected to Krishna. Be connected to those identifications. Live life based on those identifications with Krishna. And that is the way of liberation. And that's how the Baddha Jiva is originally not a fool, but by choosing to be under avidya, they become fools. For devotees, avidya is destroyed by the Lord. He converts Mahamaya into Yogmaya, and thus the devotees are in the liberated stage. Prabhupada says those who are chanting Hare Krishna, they are liberated. It's only a matter of time. So this particular thought process continues because today is the disappearance day of Narahari Sarkar. And Narahari Sarkar's personality, it is explained by Lochan Das Thakur, his disciple in Chaitanya Mangala, in the Prastavana, foreword, that I am the disciple of Narahari Sarkar, who is constantly immersed in the nectar of devotion, immersed, dwelling in the ocean of nectar of devotion. He knows nothing but Krishna only. He doesn't speak anything but Krishna all time. That means identification with Krishna, identification with things of Krishna, identification with devotees of Krishna as whole and soul, everything. There's nothing else. You see the material things, but you don't see by choice. You see only Krishna and Krishna's things. With that choice you have got what to see, how to see, and what not to see, what to avoid. So, Gaura Ganodesh Deepika says in verse number 177 that Pura Madhumati Prana Sakhi Brindavane Stita Adhuna Narahari Akhya Sarakara Prabhopiya. Sri Radha's dear friend Madhumati Gopi, a Braj Gopi, appeared as Narahari Sarkar, who was very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Madhumati Gopi appeared as Narahari Sarkar. Radharani is the most confidential Gopi servant in Goloka. Her seva is to provide honey to the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Name is Madhumati. Lord Chaitanya brought with him the eternal denizens of spiritual world, and they assumed many forms of most humble and dedicated devotees in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Madhumati Gopi appeared as Narahari Sarkar in the village of Sri Khanda, which is not very far from Katwa, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. His mother's name was Sri Goi Devi, who was daughter of Murari Sen, and her husband Sri Narayan. They had 3 sons. Even talking about these people, taking their names is so purifying. So listen to it with attention. Sri Narayan and Sri Goi Devi were his parents. There were 3 sons, Mukunda Sarkar, Madhav Sarkar and Narahari Sarkar. Narahari Sarkar was born in 1479. Mukunda Sarkar is father of Raghunandan Thakur. There is one great author of one historical book on Sri Chaitanya, that is Nishikant Sanyal. He wrote a book called Sri Krishna Chaitanya, in which he said Sri Khanda was like Oxford, today's Oxford and Cambridge-like situation. It was the most important and powerful Vidya Pitha. Pitha means the foundation of Vidya. The most powerful, most famous and most wanted Pitha of Vidya was Navadvip that time. So Sri Narayan, at one point, of course, he left his body. After the death of the father, the older brother Mukunda sent Narahari to Navadvip to study. And this was much before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, we can see from here also. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in which year? 1486. He is born in 1479. So much before that he was sent. And he became so much profound in the scholar in the study of Holy Scriptures. He realized the essence of all the scriptures and wrote many books and poetries much before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. There may be some error in the year, because when I read the whole thing, there also many debates were there, whether he was born in this year, that year, whether he passed away in this year, that year, but that doesn't matter. Most important is he wrote many books and poems describing the intimate rasa of love of Vrindavan, much before Lord Chaitanya manifested in Navadvip, manifesting his Sankirtan Leela. When Lord Chaitanya came back from Gaya, historical items, he was fully realized. I mean, his devotion was, enlightened, triggered. Till that time he was doing Udbhat Leela. Udbhat Leela means apparently proud of his knowledge, arrogant pastimes. And everybody would say, oh, Nimai, if only you could become devotee, it would be so nice. But you are wasting your life in this arrogance and pride of knowledge and everything. When you will become devotee? He said, one day I will become devotee and show you how I can become a good devotee. So then that happened when his father Jagannath Mishra passed away. He went to perform Shraddha. And then he met Ishwarapuri on the way. And then everything changed. Everything changed. By the power of his Guru Maharaj, Ishwarapuri, he became mad in Krishna consciousness, mad in love of Godhead. He just spoke about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. In Vyakaran, in lecture, everything he spoke about Krishna. He threw away all the books one day. His students threw away all the books. And he became completely uncontrolled in ecstasies. So that time, Sachi Mata would get worried. She would feel, my son, many times he would try to rip his chest apart. Many times he would say, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And they didn't know what to tell. That time Gadadhar Pandit would really come in and pacify Gauranga. Sachi Mata had said, you don't leave, my son. You are a very mature person. Although you are the same age and my child, but you have the capacity to pacify my uncontrollable child Nimai, Gauranga. That time, what is more important to understand, that Narahari Sarkar was a constant companion of Gadadhar Pandit when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would become uncontrolled. He would assist Gadadhar Pandit in pacifying Lord Gauranga. Narahari Sarkar's special seva in this particular incarnation or life was Chamar Seva. What do we see? What we hear? Narahari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosha Adi Gaya. That means when Sanjay Mukunda Vasu Ghosh would sing in Sandhya Arati, Narahari would do Chamar Seva. Chamara Dhulabo Khabe Heribo Mukha Chandra. Lord Shiva also did Chamar Seva as Gopeshwar Mahadev. Narad Muni as Naradiya Gopi also did Chamar Seva to the Jugal Jodi, to the divine couple. And what is the beauty of Chamar Seva? When you do Chamar Seva, this way you go, you see the face of the Lord. This way you go, again you see the face of the Lord. In between you keep saying, your eyes are fixed on the face of the Lord and Chamara keeps moving from one end to another 180 degrees. And the person like Daruka is also doing Chamar Seva. And tears come off his eyes and he says, why tears are coming in front of my eyes? Because the purpose of my Chamar Seva is to keep observing the beautiful form of the Lord, the face of the Lord. And my tears are obstructing me. I don't want his tears. So various devotees saying Chamar Seva. Very beautiful. So, another speciality of Narahari Sarkar. See, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita and Lord Chaitanya's life stories, many times devotees wanted to say, you are the Lord, you are the Supreme Lord. And how would Lord react? Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. I am not the Lord, I am not the Lord. You don't put me in illusion. Why are you talking this nonsense? Don't speak like this. And if he says, continue speaking, then he would close his eyes, ears. But there was one personality called Narahari Sarkar. He would boldly go on composing songs and go on glorifying the Lord as Supreme Lord in front of all the devotees, in front of whom the Lord would close his ears saying Vishnu, 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 whenever there was attempt to call him as Supreme Lord. He was the only personality. When he would sing and glorify Lord Chaitanya as Supreme the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would listen to it very enjoyingly. So this is very significant aspect of the personality of... Okay, let's go fast. Time is less. There's one important pastime which is repeatedly explained, that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu both came to Sri Khanda. Now Sri Khanda is a very, very, very important place where the devotees of Sri Khanda formed many, many branches of the trees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's called Sri Khanda Vasi Shakha of Vaishnavas. And Mukunda Raghunandan were the 39th branch of this tree. Narahari Sarkar was 40th branch of this tree. Chiranjeevi was 41st branch of the tree and Sulochana was 42nd. So, and also Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj at one point of time, he said that Sri Khanda is not different from Vaikuntha. And in this Sri Khanda, the Sarkar family was a medical family. They were a Vaidya family. And Narahari Sarkar was a very dominant, influential Vaidya in Sri Khanda. So all the doctor devotees in Sri Khanda were highly influenced by Narahari Sarkar. And because he was so absorbed in Krishna, they also all became absorbed in Krishna. That's why Sri Khanda itself became a very important number of branches in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree. So one time Lord Chaitanya Nityananda came to Sri Khanda at the house of Narahari. They were discussing Krishna Katha, singing Kirtan. At that time, both Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda asked Narahari to provide them honey to drink. Narahari Sarkar was so enthusiastic to give the honey that he just went out of the house and there was a pond and he put his kamandalu into the water and the whole pond was converted into honey. And then he drew from that pond as many lotas as possible and gave them to drink, and they all drank and became ecstatic. So His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says that the pond was converted because of the enthusiastic, unlimited, sincere desire of Narahari Sarkar to serve the Lord. The water turned into honey, lake of honey. Even to this date, it is called as Madhu Pushkarini. It is still there. Madhu Pushkarini is a result of the enthusiasm of Narahari Sarkar to serve and please the Lord. It is the manifestation of the heart of enthusiasm in service of the Lord of Narahari Sarkar. Generally, what we do is what is told to us, and we are like trying to get away or get done with our service. But Narahari Sarkar is teaching us how to do our service, how to have enthusiasm to serve, how to not forget the purpose of service is to please the object of service. And he had unlimited desire to serve and please the Lord. If he was in Puri at that time when Lord asked, maybe he could have converted the whole ocean of Puri into honey. That kind of enthusiasm he had to please the Lord. His power to please the Lord and his desire to please the Lord was unlimited. Similarly, our Srila Prabhupada also was alone on the Jaladuta. But he had this unlimited enthusiasm, unlimited desire to serve the whole people of the world in the name of Krishna. So he had nothing, he had no health, he had no money, he had no followers, he had nothing, he had no contacts while he was on Jaladuta. But today we have over 800 centers, billions of devotees, crores of books distributed. The manifestation of unlimited, intense, sincere desire in the heart of Srila Prabhupada manifested. Today also we are sitting in the beautiful place of Radha Gopinath Mandir. Is the manifestation of the sincere desire of Srila Prabhupada. So we have to adopt this particular mood. Don't do things in service to Krishna as duty only. Try to convert the activities in Krishna consciousness as of love, enthusiastic activities, and not limiting it to as per told. Continue doing it like Hanumanji did. He went to Lanka, did something, and then burnt Lanka also and came. Because he had unlimited desire to please the Lord and serve the Lord in a favorable mood. So, after Lord Chaitanya disappeared, Narahari Sarkar was living in Srikhanda. And you can imagine who were associating with him there. Raghunandan Thakur became disciple of Narahari Sarkar. You know how famous he is for his devotion. Lochan Das Thakur, one of the greatest authors of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's times, author of Chaitanya Mangal, he became his disciple. The very incarnation of the effulgence of the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came as Acharya Srinivas Acharya. He, although he was a disciple of Gopal Bhatta, took shelter of Narahari Sarkar in Srikhanda and stayed there to serve him. Narottam Das took shelter, Shamanand Pandit took shelter of Narahari Sarkar. Srinivas Acharya was such a renounced devotee, was all time tasting Madhurya Ras in his heart, and was an ardent tapasvi in austerities. He had no desire to enjoy worldly affairs. But at Srikhanda, when he took shelter of Narahari Sarkar one time told him that I got direct instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in my heart to tell you that you should get married. And Narahari Sarkar got married on the instruction of Srinivas Acharya got married on the instruction of Narahari Sarkar. That kind of purity and power Narahari Sarkar had, and that kind of nishtha Srinivas Acharya had in Narahari Sarkar. That's why such kind of thing happened. A most renowned person got married to serve the Lord. In fact, he married 2 times. One time we discussed over here. In Chaitanya Mangal Sutra Khanda, Lochan Das writes that my Guru, my Thakur, was very influential amongst the medical caste in Srikhanda. He is eternally absorbed in Krishna Prem. And in fact, he does not know anything else but Krishna. In Krishna Lila, he was Madhumati. He was storehouse of love and sweetness, Madhu. Now he is Narahari and is the keeper of the storehouse of love of Radha Krishna. So how would you write the foreword? Sri Narahari Sarkar wrote many books. One of them was Sri Bhajanamrita, very famous. And then Sri Chaitanya Sahasranam, Sri Sachinandan Ashtaka, Sri Radha Ashtaka. The very famous books he wrote. Some of the associates of Narahari Sarkar in Srikhanda were Damodar Kaviraj. Why they are called Kaviraj? Because they are all Vaidyas, doctors. Damodar Kaviraj, Govinda Kaviraj, Sri Balram Das, Sri Rati Kanta. Even reciting the names are so purifying. Sri Ram Gopal Das, Sri Pitambar Das, Sri Sachinandan, Sri Jagadananda. They were all the associates. Narahari Sarkar was there in Puri also. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya identified him and Raghunandan as the prominent associate of Lord Chaitanya. In Puri, they were the lead dancers in the group of Srikhanda, because there were 7 groups, they were dancing in Rath Yatra. The Srikhanda devotees were so prominent that they were given one group, that you all be in one group. So in that group, Raghunandan and Narahari Sarkar were the lead dancers. Of course, the life story is unlimited, but just to connect with the bhav of Narahari Sarkar. Let me clarify one point to you, that the author of Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Chakravarti, is different than Narahari Sarkar. Many times he is confused with the two. But Narahari Chakravarti was a follower of Chakravarti lineage. Now there is many poetries that Narahari Sarkar wrote. One poetry I would like to read to end my talk today. Because these bhajans, when we sing of the acharyas, the purpose of these bhajans is to identify with the mood of the inner core of the heart of that particular devotee. When we read Thakur Bhakti Vinod's poetry, we read Narottam Das Thakur poetry, the purpose is to match or try to match with the vibration or the desire or the devotional sentiment of the acharya. And by reciting the bhajans written by these great souls, we slowly adopt that mood. We try to match the wavelength and get the association of that acharya who is not there now, but his vani through the poetry, the heartfelt, intense emotions are expressed. That's why we sing the bhajans. Singing the bhajans of the acharya is important because of that. So that they are not there, but we still associate with them. And when we speak something, it is one level. But when you speak poetry, it has to be very esoteric from the bottom of your heart. The heartfelt feelings are coming out as poetry. Poetry is always special, right? So Narahari Sarkar was born before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narahari Sarkar lived when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. He would please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regularly, unlimitedly. And in his life, Mahaprabhu Chaitanya left this world also. And he lived some more years. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived 48 years. But Narahari Sarkar lived over 100 years. So before some years, after some years. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, he was in very much pain. And he wrote one poetry, which is, the meaning is like this. Please listen carefully. If Lord Gauranga came back to Nadia, my mind would be filled with joy again. Then I would see him, the source of all joy, performing his Sankirtan Leela. Hari, Hari, when will I be again be able to see the beautiful lotus-like face of Lord Chaitanya? When will I be able to gaze at his Mukha Chandra? When will that day come when the dam, listen to carefully, when the dam in my heart will break? What is it holding? Dam holds water, na? From overflowing. The dam is holding the ocean of my viraha, my separation from Lord Chaitanya. When did that dam will break and let the water flow and convert into water of union instead of ocean of separation? That is writing. When will I see the golden form of Lord Chaitanya wrapped in Yagya Sutra, that is Yaggopavita, Brahman thread? Lifting my arms in air, I will shout Hari Hari and dance in the Hari Hari. Lifting my arms in air, I will shout Hari Hari and dance in ecstasy in the middle of all sincere devotees. Saying such things, many Gaur Bhaktas will close their eyes and they will merge in love of Lord Chaitanya. When will my desire be fulfilled? When will I get the fortune of gazing again upon the beautiful form of young Gauranga? This is how he is expressing. He lived over 100 years. His disappearance day rituals were led by Srinivas Acharya. He was right there. He led the whole series. And even Lord Nityananda's son, Virchandra, was there to perform the ceremony of Samadhi. And at that time, when this whole thing was going on, I mean, when the person is passed away, the sannyasi is given Samadhi in a day or two. And then for sannyasi, on 16th day called Shodashi, there's a ceremony of feeding all the Vaishnavas. So what people do when the ceremony is done or when the funeral is done, then people go away. But when people were about to leave after the first ceremony, there was discussion amongst the Vaishnavas. Don't leave this place, don't leave Sri Khanda. In a few days, Sri Khanda will be flooded with an ocean of love of Narahari Sarkar. That means Narahari Sarkar is not left, he is there. Just wait and watch. In few days' time, you will be flooded with ocean of love. So this is Narahari Sarkar. Today's day is dedicated to his memory. The memory, there was such an ecstatic experience while I was studying the life of Narahari Sarkar. Otherwise, we don't study, right? We have got so many other things to study. But it was a great opportunity to enter into the ocean-like loving personality of Narahari Sarkar and try to draw some nectar to share over here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Is there any question? There is no question. Thank you very much. We'll chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra together as a tribute, as a homage for our homage to Narahari Sarkar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. May we all attain the association of Narahari Sarkar somewhere in the journey of life. Hare Krishna.